I'm having total 9+ years of experience into SAP, ABAP, XI, PI, BW, and HANA. I work into the functional areas of SD, HR, and IS utilities, and some part of finance, and have total 5+ years of experience into corporate trainings as well as online trainings. This is all about myself. Can you brief about yourself, Sagar?
Yeah, this is Sagar. I'm working on SAP BO at Cheyat Technologies. This is my 11th day working.
Okay, fine.
I completed
And
my graduation in electronics and communication.
okay, do you have what is the total experience you have in SAP?
No, I'm a fresher.
Fresher. Okay, fine. And what are your expectations which you have from the training?
Now we are working on dashboards actually.
Okay.
Our client is UHG, on UHG. And
Okay.
expectation, that's all. Still now I don't know.
Okay, fine. No, what you are expecting? Like, no, what are the requirements which you have?
Sorry?
What are the requirements that you have? What are you looking for from the training?
Oh, okay. I want to shift for SAP HANA. That's all. By keeping this experience.
Fine. Okay, fine.
So, is there any prerequisite for learning HANA?
There's no prerequisite for learning HANA. Only to know the few concepts of BW and BI, BW or
Okay.
BI. Okay, and some part of ABAP. If you know, that will be more advantage, added advantage for your SAP HANA, because we are going to deal with the HANA database. Okay, so that's the reason. Okay, let's start it, and then now let's have some details regarding this. Fine.
Okay.
So before, as everyone, you are aware of SAP R3 and SAP ERP, right? Yes, sir. Correct? You have an idea about the ERP or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just start it, and with that, we just go into the HANA, how HANA has come into the picture now. Okay, so SAP, SAP HANA is an ERP product. Okay, ERP package, one of the ERP package. The ERP is nothing but enterprise resource and planning. SAP is likely the largest computer software house in the world today, and SAP is famous for its enterprise resource and planning software used by most of the largest companies throughout the world. So this SAP's ERP system allows businesses to store just about all the information they need to function, right? So from data related to the customers, or related to the purchase orders, related to the deliveries, related to the invoice, through the production schedules for factories, stock levels, and so on. So SAP's main selling point is a real-time integrated aspect of the system. Okay, fine. So it means where they are looking for the real-time data on and day. So with if an incoming delivery is entered into the system, then the stock levels are updated in the real time. Correct? So data is always fresh and always current. So till this, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
No, fine. So in 1997, okay, SAP released in 1997, SAP has released SAP Business Information Warehouse. Okay, its vision is mainly of a data warehouse solution for the ERP solution. Its vision is mainly data warehouse solution. What do you mean by data warehouse solution? Anyway? Yes, please. Any idea? Come on. Sagar or Snita, do you have any idea about what is the data
No,
warehouse
sir.
solution? Is the one where its main intention is to get the data from the diverse systems and uh, integrate all the systems. So to analyze the data from diverse sources to support decision making means all the data is going to store in different databases, right? Different databases. So mainly the business data here, the business data plays a key role in shaping companies' overall strategy, right? Yes, sir. So nowadays, as companies are expanding their business globally, the volume of the data which any company needs in day-to-day business, right, for developing future strategy is increasing day by day. So, in this kind of situation, situation application, okay, there is a tool which will take care of company data plays a key role. That is nothing but your SAP BW. So SAP BW has as a solution which many companies already decided to invest in this, right? So as data volume is increasing day by day, so to resolve data related performance issue, we have SAP HANA has come into the picture. SAP HANA has come into the picture. So you might be getting a doubt here. The business warehouse is also for storing the data, and SAP HANA is also is going to store the data. So what might be the difference between these two? Anyone? Any
This
idea about
SAP
this?
HANA will be in in memory, no?
What do you mean by in-memory database?
It will be located in RAM itself, so that it will
RAM.
be faster.
So okay. So why can't we store that in a hard disk?
Uh, it might be somewhat slower, I think.
Sorry.
Okay, you continue, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. Any other points from anyone?
No,
No?
no, sir.
Fine. So this as SAP Business Warehouse, the term used to describe the underlying technology, right? So as opposed to business intelligence, used to describe the user-facing technologies. So it allows SAP BW generally, SAP BW, okay, SAP BW, it generally allows users to report on the data stored in the ERP system, allowing anything from simple analysis to complex simulations on sales forecasting depends on different factors, right? So this data totally going to store in a hard disk, correct? Hard disk. So there will be lots of data which is going to store in the hard disk. Okay. So the main difference here he comes is you need to understand what is the ERP, what is the BW, and what is the HANA is. So SAP ERP stores data in the database. Correct? Stores data in the database. When you come to the BW, it takes the data in the database, aggregates it, and present totals and trends to the user. There also the data is going to store in the database in the hard disk. When you come to the SAP HANA, SAP HANA is in-memory database, means it will store into the in-memory database where it is going to store the data in the RAM. So you might be getting a doubt how it is going to store the data in the RAM. Uh, anyone Any answers?
No, no, sir.
No. So you might be, having a small idea, like when you're switching on your system, on your desktop or a laptop, right? You know, you might be every day, you'll be switching your desktop or a laptop, right? So how a system, how we can guess the speed of the system based on what?
RAM.
Which component of the system? Sorry,
RAM, sir.
RAM, right? Random
Huh.
access memory. So when you switch off, whether the no data is going to shut down or data will be stored in the RAM.
Huh.
Yes, please. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, yes. When you shut down the system, okay, the
Okay.
data is going to store in the RAM or not?
No, sir, not in RAM.
Right. Data is going to wind off, right? It will not be
Huh.
available. Now, similarly, here you are saying that SAP HANA is an in-memory database where it is going to store in the RAM. But now, when I ask you a question here also, when this suddenly power goes, what happens here?
It will go off.
Then what is the use of the data is storing in the RAM? It's a valid point or not?
Yes, sir.
Then is any answer?
Actually, that was the main doubt to me.
Yeah, tell me. So here the main difference is like it is going to store all the data in the RAM, uh, uh, whereas first of all we need to whereas it is going to store where the BW is going to store the data in the hard disk, right? So storing of the data in the hard disk, storing of the data is the RAM is the performance wise is very high in the performance, right? So the speed of the data retrieval will be faster. So that's the reason we call this SAP HANA has high performance. What do you call performance? High performance analytic appliance. So that is the main full form of HANA. So it is an in-memory column oriented RDBMS, relational database management system. So the data is going to store in the form of rows and columns. Understanding? Data is going to store in the form of rows and columns. So we need to learn what are the prerequisites to learn SAP HANA. Is a ABAP is required to learn SAP HANA. Whether we need to know SAP BW, SAP BO, and SAP BR. Okay. The first thing is here we will learn what is HANA is, and we need to know some of the few things like what is a SAP Business Suite is, SAP Business Suite on HANA is, S4 HANA is, SAP BW on HANA is, SAP ABAP on HANA is. So most of the people they'll be confusing with these terms. Okay, so let's go in few details on this. Like we will learn what is a SAP HANA is, right? So now these are the things most probably like mainly why customers choose SAP HANA is the speed, real-time data, and it can fetch data from any it can fetch any data, and it can fetch the data from any source, and it will be simplicity, and it can store the data in the cloud, and it can it has many choices to choose from. Either you can fetch the data from any database or any source where we can have the data, right? So that's the reason all the data here is stored in the RAM. Any questions here? All the data is stored in the RAM and no longer on the hard disk, and no longer on the hard disk, and no time wasting in loading the data. Okay, So everything is stored in the in-memory for all the time, which gives the quick accessibility to the CPU while processing the data. So the speed advantage offered by this RAM storage system are further accelerated by the use of. So how not only depends upon the RAM, it depends upon the processors. That's the reason we use the multi-core CPUs. Multi-core CPUs, okay, and multi-core per board. So multi-core CPUs means what? Any idea?
No, sir.
You might be Sunita, do you have any idea about multi-core CPUs? Systems, desktops or laptops like P4, P4 system, core to Duo, dual core, right? Many terms will be core to Duo and i3, i5, i7, and all these things. So in that there is a core to Duo and dual core. So what do you mean by core? Any idea about that?
No, sir.
No, the core here is the processor which which you see. The main thing is here the processor. Okay, the core to DO, how many cores is going to increase, that much of speed is going to increase in the system. Okay, understanding? So that's where is having multi-core CPUs will be there in the HANA database. That's the reason the performance of the data is going to increase. So this operating system supported by HANA is SAP HANA is like earlier it was SCSE, SUSE Linux, Enterprise Server x86 is nothing but 32-bit to 64-bit, that we call as SLES. Okay, SLES 11 Service Pack 1. Okay, was only operating system supported by SAP HANA. From now, from SPS 08 Service Pack SPS 08, this Red Hat Enterprise Linux was also supported. Fine. So this is totally developed in C++ language. Okay. C++ language. Understand till this? Any questions, please?
No, sir.
Okay. Fine. So you have got right. If the power fails, what happens to the database? So here, SAP HANA database holds bulk of its data in the memory for maximum performance, but still uses the persistent storage to provide fallback in case of failure. Means after the power failure, the data can be restarted like any disk-based database and returns to its consistent stage by replaying the log since last save point. Okay, so in that case, when the power fails, all the data will be stored in a disk memory. Okay, they separate the disk memory they'll be taking for the backup purpose. Okay, understanding? For the backup purpose, what they'll be using? They'll be using the disk memory. So that's the main reasons to use HANA. Okay, the speed, real-time data, any source. Okay, got it?
Okay.
So let's see what is the architecture of SAP HANA is. How the architecture of HANA is going to look like. Okay. Tell us any questions, please.
No.
No. And before going to the architecture, just we need to know who are the partners of SAP HANA, hardware partners or software partners, which is there for SAP HANA. Okay. 1 minute, please. So these are the hardware partners. Currently SAP HANA partners are HP, Fujitsu, Cisco, IBM, Hitachi, NEC, and Dell. Okay, and this is the in HANA is in the SAP HANA is developed, as I told you, SAP HANA is developed in C++ and runs on SUSE Linux Enterprise, right? SUSE Linux Enterprise, and it consists of multiple servers. So most important component here is the index server. So here the index server as a main component of SAP HANA database contains actual data stores, and the engine to process the data means it processes incoming SQL statements in the context of authenticated sessions and transactions. Means mainly in the index server, it processes the SQL statement. Whatever the SQL statement which you use, okay, that will be handled by this index server. Okay, and mainly this will be done in the SAP HANA Studio. If you go for, we are going to work on SAP BW 7.4 on HANA. So here you can see the client application is SAP HANA Studio. Okay, so in the SAP HANA Studio, where we can connect to the different databases like SAP BW, SAP ECC, okay, and from there we can replicate your data. So here you can see the perspectives of a SAP HANA modeler, okay, where here we are going to connect to the database. So here I'll be connecting. So if you want to connect to the SAP database, first of all we need to click on this database HANA user. So this is where we connect to the SAP database, okay, HANA server. So here we use this SAP what do you call it? SAP HANA Studio mainly to connect to your database. Is a client application where we'll be connecting to the different databases. Like you can connect to ECC and you can get the data here. We can see what exactly we will be having in the ABAP as well. Okay, so on a sample I can show you what exactly we are going to see in the HANA database. So here this is a dictionary which I am seeing. So here database tables. If you want to see any of the database table which is there in the ECC, okay, where exactly we can see this data here, okay, from the database tables. So just click on this contents button and you can see how the data here. There is no data here. So what I do, I just go for another standard table. So database table. So here basically initially you will not be visible with the standard tables in the HANA. We need to replicate these tables into the HANA database. Okay, we need to replicate the data into the HANA database, like something like that. They have student details. Click on execute. This is how we see the data. Okay, and also we can execute our programs in the HANA database. So this is the editor where we can see and how normally you execute your programs. You can execute your programs as normal. Okay, and also you can debug it. So I have kept a breakpoint over there, so we can debug this code here like this. Okay, this is a debugging mode where we can debug as normally as what are the functions used normally in the ABAP. Okay, so like this we can execute our transactions in the SAP HANA as well. So that's how we call as SAP HANA on ABAP on HANA. Okay, When you come to the SAP HANA, this is the one which is going to connect. And what are the, so once you got the data into SAP HANA, okay, so how you get it? First of all, we will preparing our tables here, okay. First of all, we'll be preparing our tables like this. So where we go to the tables, and under our schema, we are going to prepare our tables, database tables. So where you can see the database tables data like this. I'll show you some of the. So this is the table, and if you want to see the data for this, so go to the open data preview. So this is how we can see the data. So by using this data, okay, we can see. So you can see the Mara is a standard table. Okay, so these are the fields, and you can see the data here. So this is how we can see the data here. Okay, understanding? So by using this, we'll be getting the data into the data modeling aspects, and once you got the data into the modeling, okay, into the BW or HANA, we can use using in the form of column or a data storage. So what do you mean by column storage and what do you mean by row storage? Okay, so this database is going to store in the form of rows and columns. Okay, so what it is rows and columns is, what is the rows and columns? So rows, it will, by seeing this, you can, in the row storage, row 1, row 2, row 3 and row 4. In the row 1 you can see the India chocolate 1000 in India, right? And in the row 2, ice cream 2000 Germany chocolate, right? So when you go to the column wise, it will pick up the exact record what we require, correct? But in the row wise, it has to search for each and every record over there, and then it has to come to the exact record, and then it has to fetch that one, right? Yes or no? So in the row storage format, the data is going to maintain in the traditional RDBMS in the row format. Okay, fine, understanding? So that's the main concept of HANA is. And here, this is how it is going to store the data in the row and the column base. And these are the tools, the client tools, which we use to see the data, because data is going to store in the SAP HANA database. So directly we will not be giving the access to the users to see the data. We'll be using the reporting tools like a Microsoft Excel, SAP Lumira, Crystal Reports, Analysis Office, and Business Objects Explorer. Okay, understanding?
Yes, sir.
So this is what the SAP HANA is. Any questions? Introduction about HANA and SAP HANA is, and the basic components, the concepts like in-memory computing studio, administration view. So the one which we see SAP HANA Studio is administrative view. Okay, and the architecture of HANA will go in detail, more in detail, and data provisions like replicating the data from SAP BW to HANA and SAP BODS. What is the difference between BODS and SAP HANA, and the basic data services connecting connection types. So how we can replicate the data from different sources like ECC and BW. Okay, and the modeling purpose of modeler, different types of modelers like attributes, views, and calculation views. So these are the main three things which will be having in the HANA: attribute views, analytical views, and calculation views. Okay, and reporting, for reporting, what are the tools which you use and how we can see the data, reporting purpose. And user management will be creation of the users, creation of roles, creation of a role hierarchy, and assignment of the users to the roles, and authentication and IMC authorizations. Okay, so these are all the things which will be learning in the SAP HANA. Okay, and it will be 40 to 60 hour session, and daily will be daily 1 hour, 1 hour. Okay, it is from weekdays. For weekdays it will be daily 1 hour session, and for weekends it will be two days, Saturday and Sunday. Okay, it will be 2 hours. Okay, and for all the concepts which will be explaining in the real-time business scenarios. Okay, for after each and every session, we'll be providing you the exercise for you. Okay, if you have any, after that, we'll be conducting a small mock interview type of thing that cannot be informed for you. All of a sudden, we'll be conducting you the test. Okay, and also after, if you have any gaps in any of your topics, okay, just tell me before going to start the session, so that we can clear your gaps and then further moving to the other topics. Okay, and then we'll be telling you how to prepare your technical specifications, and telling you how to prepare your resumes. Fine. So this is all about today's session. Any questions or any clarifications which you require from my side?
No, sir.